seconds remaining in the game. Penalty markers are down. A 15-yard penalty, interference. The clock is running. 26 seconds now remaining in the game.
Anybody can do it.
There are no more timeouts. Jaguars ball. First down at the 29-yard line. Quarterback Jim Collins rolls out to his right. Collins under extreme pressure. Collins throws deep. Miller's got the ball at the 5. Touchdown, Jaguars. The Jaguars win the championship. The Jaguars are the champions.
That does it. You get Collins. Get him tonight.
Know what you two are worried about anyway.
Bit of the bubbly, eh?
Yeah, I think that's... Hey, there we go. That shot will put you in orbit, Raymond.
Wait, you know I'm still shaking. I can't get over it. The last play of the game.
I'm just trying to give the fans their money's worth.
If anybody could pull it off, you could. That's what Mike said. That's right.
Now, what does he know? Track and field, tennis, maybe, but football.
No, wait a minute. I'm a big fan. I go to a lot of games. I tell you what, I listen to the crowd. I can tell you whether a football player makes 1 yard or 10 yards. Whether he's playing for the good guys or the bad guys. You'd be surprised what a crowd can tell you about a football team.
He forgot to mention that he also listens to the announcer and takes on transistor radio.
Thanks so
There's
Nicky,
the
that's
secret.
just great.
That's
right. Just in case you should happen to miss a play here or there.
Well, I'm glad you were there. All of you. I wasn't sure you'd enjoy it, Mike. I mean...
Yes, I know what you mean. I'll tell you, I enjoyed it. I did.
I'm glad. Well, how about some more champagne, huh?
Absolutely.
Come on, Nicky, we'll get it.
Oh, I think I'll skip this round. I've had my share already.
Okay, it's your party.
Don't you move.
Hey, Ray.
Hey, Ray.
How you doing, Mickey? Hi, Ray.
Hey, man, it's some kind of party, huh?
Terrific.
Good thing we won.
Hey, Ray, I gotta tell you, that was some catch you made.
Well, with this guy throwing, my grandmother could have caught it.
Don't let him kid you. He's got the best hands in the game.
That's true.
Mike, say hello to John Hope. He's the owner of the team.
Hello, John.
My friend, Mike Longstreet.
Mr. Longstreet, Jim, we're out of bubbles. What'd you do with that other case?
Oh, it's in my room. I'll get it. Well, the party's next door, fellas.
Well, we're all set. You want to join us, Ray?
Meat maker, you couldn't fill it up.
What was that? That sounded like it came from Jim's room. Pax? Left.
Jim, you in there? Jim. Oh, my God.
Luke, what is it? He went through the glass door, Mike. Must have tripped somehow.
Jim!
Jagged glass all over.
I'll call an ambulance.
A 35-yard pass from Jim Collins to Roy Eller in the closing seconds of the championship game for the final decisive score. Fans all over the country wait anxiously for news of Collins' condition after his tragic accident at a post-game party.
Thank you.
Hi, Ray.
Well, how you feel, champ?
Like I was just blitzed by the entire Green Bay team.
It's a game ball. The guys on the team wanted you to have it.
I've read the papers. Sports writers say it was given to you.
Well, I didn't vote, and I say you should have it.
Thanks.
Listen, I better get back to my hotel and pack. I'm catching the first plane marked home. I probably won't see you again until next training camp.
Sure.
Jim? Hi, Mike.
Ray?
Yeah, just saying goodbye to Jim.
Oh, how is he?
He'll make it okay.
You show me his room?
Sure, come on. Right on the left, Mike.
Okay, thanks, Ray.
See you around.
Oh, Mike, there's a chair right off your left hand. Did you talk to the doctor?
Yes, I just left him.
What did he say?
That it took over 200 stitches to patch you up.
Yeah? Well, there's more than that, isn't there?
Jim, it's going to be a while before you get back on your feet.
Well, what about football?
You know, I've got this big empty pad all to myself. Why don't you come and stay with me, at least till you're up and around?
That's not an answer.
They don't know about football, Jim. Right now, all they're concerned about is helping you walk again.
You mean I may not even be able to walk?
He travels light.
Always did.
No home, huh? No family?
No, just football. Went through college on athletic scholarships.
Just football. What happens if he can't play anymore?
I don't know.
Oh, here's his scrapbook, Mike. Really made the headlines. Oh, and not just on the playing field either. Oh, some of these girls look like they came out of the pages of Playboy.
Jim was always the golden boy. When I roomed with him in college, I practically had the place to myself. He was either playing or playing.
Oh, and you burned the midnight oil slaving over all those hot books, right?
Absolutely. Nikki, how do you figure it? The accident?
Well, when he reached for the case of champagne, he tripped, tried to break his fall, fell through the glass. I don't think it could have happened any other way.
I guess you're right.
Funny thing, though, the lights weren't turned on when Ray broke in.
The light wasn't on?
He had to turn them on. Mike?
Nicky, you better get a bellboy for that bag.
One little bag on a big girl, remember?
Pax, come on, come on. Yeah, forward. Quarterbacks, forward.
Hi, people.
Ray?
You checking out?
Yeah, we're on our way to the airport.
We?
Oh, yeah, I want you to meet Dave Winslow, Mike Longstreet, and Nicky Bell.
Hello, Dave.
Hello.
Hi.
Are you a player?
Yes.
What position?
Quarterback. Dave's the outstanding college player this year.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Dave, you want to wait for me in the lobby? I want to talk to Mike about something. I'll just be a minute.
Jim doesn't know the team's signing a new quarterback yet, does he?
No, Mike, he doesn't. The club's been whining and dying this kid for about a month.
Give him the game ball with one hand and they wave goodbye with the other. I'm sorry to hear that, Mike. I'm really very sorry. Well, maybe it's an occupational hazard. Portrait of a football player. Somebody pays him a number of dollars so they can tell him when he's good, when he's bad, and when he's through. Yeah. Well, I got lucky. I still have a profession. I can still make a living. That's not automatic, Mike. You have to work at it every day. So can Jim. He's got a college degree. He'll make out. You know how he's fixed, Duke? I figure he's broke. He made some money and he spent it. How much does workman's compensation come to? Well, there's a health and accident policy. Mike, is that what you're really concerned about, his finances? No. What's that? Duke, Jim played a near-perfect game. He played over his head. The other team led in every statistic except the final score. Your recollection apparently comes out the same as everyone else's. Nicky read me a copy of Jim's statement about the accident. He said he went to his room, he unlocked the door, closed the door, turned on the lights, and right after that, the accident happened. So? Well, when Ray broke the door down, the lights were off. The hotel engineer said that the lock to that door had been snapped shut from the inside. Said he had to open it later on with a master key. Well, you know, Jim was a little loaded, Mike. He could have made a mistake. Duke, I'd like you to check out the street. Find out if anybody dropped a bundle on that game. What could that have to do with Jim? It just sticks in my mind that those people, when they bet a lot of money, expect to make a lot of money.
Mike, are you sure I'm not going to be in the way at your place?
I've been sure the last 5 times you've asked me. Jim, now that we have a minute, could we talk about your accident?
I've got other things on my mind right now, Mike.
Jim?
Oh, cheerful, friendly, eating 3 meals a day, and all caught up on daytime TV serials.
Well, what about the weights and the parallel bars?
Hadn't touched them. He asked if you were coming by today.
Oh.
Heads up! Hey, that's pretty good.
Calvert Street Tigers was back in my pigtail and freckle years. We used the single wing, as I remember.
Well, there's nothing wrong with that. Nor with you.
That sounds like a forward pass to me. Good picture?
Oh, a little slow in spots.
Well, how are you doing?
Oh, great. Here, I'll show you. I got the old DC-3 all trimmed up and under control. Watch. Full stop. Brakes on, power off. Now, the cruising speed is nothing to write home about, but I'm not going anywhere.
Aren't you?
Aren't I what?
Going anywhere.
Are you hungry yet?
No, Mrs. K. I'm fine, thank you.
You let me know when you are.
Jim, oh, excuse me. Hello? Yes. Just a moment. It's a long-distance call for you, person to person, from a Joan Lockwood in New York.
Tell them I'm tied up at the moment, and I'll get back to her.
You sure?
Sure, I'm sure.
He'll have to return the call. Is there a number where we can reach Miss Lockwood? Mm-hmm. Thank you. Joan Lockwood, eh? I've seen her picture in the fashion magazines. She's lovely. There's got to be something wrong with you.
Hadn't you noticed?
I didn't mean it that way.
I know you didn't mean it that way. Come on, let's warm up the TV set. Beacon of Hope goes on in 7 minutes.
Aren't you going to call your girl?
She is not my girl. She's just a girl.
Only one thing for us to do, and that's get an annulment.
All those headlines?
I didn't write them.
Be the laughing stock of the world?
I can stand it.
Well, I can't.
You have to. It's the only way.
Well, Mr. Longstreet, you said on the phone that you wanted to talk about Jim Collins.
Yes, I was wondering about Jim's future with the team.
May I ask what your interest is?
Well, I'm an insurance investigator.
Is this something about the accident?
No, not really. Jim and I are old friends.
Oh, I see. Now, here's your drink.
Thank you.
Well, to be perfectly candid, Jim's slowed down quite a bit. He's not getting any younger, and his arm is just not what it used to be.
He wouldn't know it the way he pulled that title game out of the fire.
You follow football, Mr. Longstreet? You must know that touchdown pass was a shot in 1,000. Did you say that you and Jim were pretty close friends?
Yes, we are.
Then let me lay it on the line. Jim's contract expires this year. The club doesn't plan to renew it. I suppose that sounds cruel and unappreciative after all that Jim's contributed to the team over the years, but that's one of the necessary evils in this business, one we have to learn to live with. We've invited Jim to training camp next season. Take a crack at keeping his old job, but with this injury to his foot.
And Jim knew his contract wasn't going to be renewed.
Yes. He's known for several weeks now.
Hi.
Is Mike around?
Nope, just Mrs. K, the soap opera buff, and me.
What?
Oh, nothing. What's up? If I read your expression correctly, it's bad news.
That may be. Mike wanted to know if anyone went for a bundle on that title game.
Did he have someone special in mind?
No, but one guy did drop a small fortune. A respectable businessman by the name of Alex Roebling.
You're losing me.
I've been getting the impression that Mike doesn't think that Jim's accident was an accident. That means someone is responsible. The question is who and for what reason.
But Jim said it was an accident. Why would he lie?
I said ordinary.
We don't know that Jim lied, Nicky, not yet.
But you're not sure it was an accident, huh?
No.
Have you ever heard of Alex Roebling?
No, I haven't. Duke's trying to get a line on him.
I guess a lot of people bet on a big game like that, huh?
Yeah, but as a rule, not small fortunes. You sure opened up a can of peas, Mike. Alex Roebling was a big loser in the game, right? Yeah, go on. A routine financial report on Jim says he owes $35,000 to a company called Allied Finance of Detroit. And? It's part of an elaborate financial empire controlled by a man named Alex Roebling. 20 years ago, Mr. Roebling was arrested for attempted extortion. Case was dismissed. Failure of the witness to appear. Well, 20 years have gone by and the witness still hasn't appeared anywhere.
You're suggesting Roebling arranged to loan Jim $35,000 through a dummy company?
Yes.
And he knew Jim couldn't pay the money back?
No, not quite, Mike. He knew there was a way that Jim could pay it back.
By throwing the game?
That's right. That's why he bet so heavily on the game.
And that's why he lost so heavily, because Jim didn't throw the game. Could make him a pretty sore loser.
Yeah, but was he sore enough to arrange Jim's accident?
Well, maybe.
You think Jim knew when he borrowed the money that it came from Roebling?
Only Jim can answer that one.
Yeah. As a matter of fact, without Jim on the witness stand answering questions, all we've got are a lot of interesting coincidences.
Wait a minute, Duke. What do you mean, witness stand?
Well, Jim didn't throw the game. He won it. Now, the grand jury can subpoena Roebling tomorrow, but they can't make anything stick without Jim to testify that he was supposed to throw that game.
If you're right, and Jim tells the truth, he implicates himself. If he keeps his mouth shut, nobody can prove anything.
He can just sit back and wait to make the Hall of Fame. Meanwhile, Roebling and his people go right on corrupting and bribing, maiming when necessary, and killing when necessary.
Jim.
Hi. How's the ace of the Calvert Street Tigers?
Fine. And you?
Terrific. I'm getting smashed in the middle of the afternoon.
Why are you getting smashed?
I forget. But it was a good idea at the time.
I picked up something for you.
What?
2 sets of x-rays. One taken immediately after the accident and one taken by the radiologist yesterday.
Oh, we can have our own instant replay. I mean, if we had the right equipment, we could look at those instead of the TV.
Well, it shows the leg healing, Jim.
That's good news.
The doctor asked me what you were doing in the way of exercise.
I can tell him that I'm bending my arm regularly.
He also said the muscles, tendons, and ligaments are all involved in the healing process. And part of it, maybe the biggest part, is in your head.
Thanks for the report. You can give those things to Mrs. K. She can pack them with the rest of my gear.
Are you leaving?
Any day.
Do you have any idea where you're going?
No.
Have you talked to Mike?
No. He and I have gone a couple of years without seeing each other more than once. Nothing changes between us.
You can't go like this. What about Joan?
Hey, do me a favor, huh, Nicky? You call Joan. You tell her Big Jim is not coming home. Coming home? Going home? Which is it?
I don't know, Jim. I don't know which it is either. And there he goes, folks.
How about that, huh?
Not bad for a sedentary type. I've been trying to get Jim up on them.
No luck?
Couldn't drag him away from Beacon of Hope.
Well, according to Alice, those soaps do get pretty exciting. Where's Jim?
In his room. One of these days, he's got to start making an effort to get well.
One of these days he will.
Not so sure.
Look, Nicky, he's had a long season. Maybe his last. He's had an accident. He's tired out. Believe me, he'll come back.
He's the golden boy who never quit.
Until he had to.
At 36, 2 years ago, he was still too young to be elected president of the United States.
He's not in politics. He's in football.
I've been reading up on the game. There's a player named George Blanda. He's 42 years old, and the 20-year-olds keep out of his way.
Nicky, George Blanda is all pro at 42. Jim Collins ran out of steam at 36. It happens sometimes. That's life.
I think he's running away from life.
Meaning what?
I don't think he wants to get well. And I don't know why.
Hey, you couldn't catch him like that when you could see.
Well, that's because I used to hear footsteps. Some big linebacker coming up behind me.
Maybe you're watching the cheerleaders instead of the ball.
All right, rabbit ears. See how you pick up on this. We ought to sign him up.
Mr. Longstreet, can the cook call time?
Oh, yeah, sure thing.
It's such a nice day, I thought maybe you'd like to have lunch outside.
That'd be fine, Miss Kay.
I'll give you a hand. All right.
Well, have you had enough?
Yeah. You know, they don't make us Monday morning quarterbacks like they used to.
I'll drink to that. Join me?
No, thanks. You know, Jim, something about that accident of yours, it's been bugging me.
And me too. What's bothering you?
Well, one, you go into a room to pick up a case of champagne. It's dark in the room, but you don't bother to turn the lights on.
But I did turn them on.
When you broke down the door, the lights were off.
Guess I made a mistake.
Two, I just can't figure a guy like you who spent half his lifetime on a football field running, dodging big linemen, having an accident like that.
We just won a pretty big football game, remember? We were celebrating. You knew I'd been drinking. Look, maybe what I did was stupid, but it was still an accident.
I talked to you just before you left that room. You were as sober as I was.
You're trying to build something out of nothing. I'd like to know why. Is it the insurance?
No. I'm sorry, Jim. It's a bad habit of mine. I sometimes see things that aren't actually there.
Is this halftime?
Yeah, the clock's run out.
Well, lunch is progressing nicely. Think you can spare him? We have some paperwork.
Be my guest.
All right, Nicky, bring on the paperwork.
We're all caught up.
Oh?
What were you and Jim talking about?
Well, we covered a lot of ground, Nicky.
I couldn't help overhearing that last bit about seeing things that aren't there. Is Jim in some kind of trouble?
Now, you want opinion or you want fact?
Either.
I don't know. Sometimes I think I read too much between the lines.
What do you come up with?
I'll tell you, I don't buy the way that accident was supposed to have happened. I think Jim's football career is over. I think he knows it, and I think it's eating him up inside. And yes, I think he's in some kind of trouble.
Whatever it is, he's a nice guy.
Yeah.
And a good friend.
Yes, I'll talk to him.
Good idea.
Hey, Mike, come here and sit down. I'll show you how Nicky solved this little brain twister in about 1 minute, and it's taken me nearly 2 days.
What's that, chess?
Chess.
Jim, could we talk about another kind of a game?
Why not? What kind?
I mean the kind where you put all the pieces together and you come up with a picture.
And I'm in the picture, right? On the field or on the sidelines?
Yeah, you're on the field. Jim, if I knew any other way to say it, I would.
Well, you've got the ball. You call the signals.
Okay. You just give me one straight answer to a question, and I'll walk away from it. I'll never bring up the subject again. Did a man named Alex Roebling buy you in that football game?
Come on, Mike. What kind of a question is that?
That picture. Know what I see?
No. You tell me. What do you see?
All right, I'll tell you. You were into Dr. Roebling for $35,000. He offered to tear up the note and wipe the slate clean. In return, you were supposed to blow that game. Only at the last minute out there in the field, you couldn't bring yourself to do it.
Come on, Mike. You've got to be kidding.
Tell me I'm wrong.
I never borrowed a nickel from Roebling. I didn't know he owned the loan company. But all of a sudden, I owed him.
And you knew Roebling's men would come after you, try and get you, maybe even kill you. Instead, they fixed it so you'd never be able to walk out onto a football field again.
The note. How'd you find out about it?
Well, little bits and pieces began to fit together.
I didn't want you to know, Mike. I guess I didn't want anyone to know. I guess when you're digging, you found out that my contract hasn't been renewed for next year.
Yep.
Old said that if I wanted to show up at training camp, they'd give me a chance. Some chance. Let's face it, Mike. I'm a football player. Nothing more. Never been too much in the cerebral department. If it hadn't been for you helping me cram, I'd have never gotten through college. I wonder what a guy does when he's 36 and suddenly discovers he's an old man. Doesn't know any other job. I'm broke, Mike. How long? How long do you figure it'd take me to pay off the loan? Signing endorsements, pumping gas, maybe selling shoes? No, I saw an opening and I took it.
Jim, the point is you didn't go through with it.
And you want to know why? A bunch of guys. Hard-nosed, loud-mouthed guys. You should have seen them in the locker room at halftime. Bruised, broken, bloody, trying to patch themselves up with spit and adhesive tape. You know, they played 14 games to get to the big one, and nothing was going to stop them from playing. Nothing. Or winning. Except maybe one guy. Me. That's what I was thinking about in the huddle when I called the last play. And I'll tell you something, Mike. Roebling could kill me. I'd do it again.
Yeah. Jim, Roebling had some of his men come after you and throw you through that window, didn't he?
That's right.
Well, can you describe them, identify them?
I don't know. I'm not sure.
Well, what happens now?
Nothing.
What do you mean, nothing? You're just going to sit there, repaying your debt, holding still for it?
Oh, at least Roebling left me alive.
Come on, Jim. I mean, how much do you suppose Roebling figures your time is worth? I mean, how much does he knock off for each day you sit in that wheelchair like a mummy?
That's enough, Mike.
$50, 50 cents? Shut up! You got out of that chair, didn't you? You stood up.
I didn't know I could.
Didn't want to find out if you could.
Look, Mike, let's say that Jim can identify the two hoods. Then the police have to establish a connection between them and Roebling. Establish that they acted against Jim on Roebling's orders.
And no matter how you slice it, Jim has to testify himself.
That's an educated guess, but I can almost guarantee it.
And Roebling's bound to have an army of smart lawyers.
Right. And when it's all over, it isn't really all over. Roebling is as free as a bird, and I don't know where Jim is.
That makes two of us.
How is Jim?
Well, he can use his legs, but he doesn't want to.
Why not?
I don't know yet. But I'm working on a theory.
Can, any number play?
No, not yet. I haven't got the rules of the game worked out.
What's the game, Mike?
It's called Mind Over Matter. Jim, you know, no one said you had to do it all overnight.
I wonder why I waited so long.
What do you mean, to try?
Yeah.
Well, I think you figured that as long as you had that accident as an excuse that you were safe.
Safe?
Sure. You know, football player, cut down at the peak of his career. Look good in your scrapbook. You come out a winner.
Easy, Mike.
That's not where we're at.
All right. Shoot.
Found out you could walk and had to quit football, you wouldn't have an excuse. A lot of players have come back from serious injury, but you weren't coming back and you knew it.
You get around, don't you?
Mm-hmm. Anyway, Duke put together an assortment of Roebling's known associates. Here, why don't you take a look at them? Anybody there look familiar?
Yeah. These are the guys. Delano and Rager.
You sure? Couldn't have been very long before they turned that light out.
I'm sure. Extortion, labor racketeering, assault with intent to commit murder.
Okay, Jim, that's it. I've done everything I can. The rest is up to you.
What do you mean?
If you really want to nail Roebling, you're going to have to testify in front of a grand jury.
You've got to be kidding.
No, I'm not kidding. One phone call from you and Roebling gets hit with a subpoena. It's the beginning of the end for him.
And what is it for me?
What is it for you now? And if you do go into that courtroom, you're going to have to tell the truth, not just about Roebling, but about yourself.
That's right. And a month later, 9 out of 10 people will remember that I was tied up with crooked gamblers, and maybe 1 out of the 10 will remember that I took a stand against them. Look, Mike, I'm identifying these two guys. If the cops grab them and they want to put the finger on Roebling, that's great. But I've done my part. I'm taking myself out of the game. I'm sorry.
Well, so am I. But not for the reasons you may think. You're right. If you testify, you may lose a little. A little prestige, a little status, a little image. But you could also gain a lot.
Why don't you tell me about it?
If you don't know, I can't explain it to you.
Jim, I'm going to call it a day if there's nothing you need.
Oh, no, I'm fine, thanks.
Okay, I'll see you tomorrow. Bye-bye.
Nikki?
Yes?
Well, I just wanted to say thanks for everything.
There's a note of finality there.
I told you I was leaving. Can't stay here forever.
No, I guess not.
I envy you. Did you know that?
No. Why?
Because you know who you are.
Don't you?
All I know about myself is what I read in the papers.
Well, it's not bad, what you read about yourself in the papers.
Not so far. I've been lucky. But imagine a grown man packing a scrapbook with him every time he moves anyplace.
So, you don't know who you are, eh? I mean, off the playing field and out of the newspaper headlines,
Not exactly. I'm like someone that's been traced, just an outline. And I need filling in. Can I ask you something?
Sure.
Could someone like you care for someone like me? I mean, you know, somebody that needs filling in.
Yes.
Could you?
Yes.
But you don't, do you?
No. Not the way you mean. It has nothing to do with your being a star quarterback or not. It has to do with...
With chemistry.
Yeah.
Well, it's going to be interesting finding out who I am.
Where are you going to start?
You're not talking geography.
No.
Then I'm going to start here. And now. At the beginning.
Roebling is not just going to sit on his hands for this.
Oh, we didn't want him to, did we?
I don't know. Now that you got to Jim, I'm afraid Roebling might try to get to you, both of you.
That'd be kind of dumb, don't you think? And obvious. What about his muscle, Rieger and Delano?
Lieutenant Markham is having some trouble picking them up. Finding them would be more like it. And without them, it's... Yes. Yes, Lieutenant. I see. Thanks for letting me know. And that's why.
Why what?
Why he couldn't locate them. They were just found, Mike, in an abandoned warehouse, shot to death.
So Roebling must figure that without those two witnesses available for questioning, you wouldn't talk. I gotta tell you, Jim, I wouldn't blame you. Chances are he'll get away with it, and you'll be the only one hurt.
Mike, you were right. I have been paying Roebling. I paid when his boys put me through the window, and I paid when they stuck me in this chair, and I sat still for it. But I'm finished paying. And I'm finished hiding.
Morning.
Good morning.
Can you say anything right now, Jim?
Inside, fellas. I'll say it all inside. Mike, what was the toughest single moment in your life?
When I came home, after Ingrid's funeral.
Did you... Well, did you want anybody around?
Nope.
Then I'm sure you know how I feel.
Anything at this time, Mr. Roebling?
My attorneys will have a statement for you later on, gentlemen. Thank you for your patience. Jim? You a little disappointed? No crowds, no marching bands?
I wasn't expecting them, Alex. I figured we'll get the big turnout the day they put you away.
You know what you're doing, what you're giving up.
Nothing. Absolutely nothing. I'm just filling somebody in.
What?
Forget it. You wouldn't understand.